It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and welcome yet again to another episode of That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. You'll catch this show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ. And also, you can catch me over at my website, tampabayradio.com, where you can catch past shows of That Business Show, as well as see all of my property listings, as I also specialize in the sale of bank-owned real estate. And again, just head over to tampabayradio.com. Also, connect with me on all the social networking sites. You can find me over at Twitter, the handle Jamie_Meloni, and Facebook.com/ That Business Show. And also feel free to connect with me over at LinkedIn. Also looking to talk to any and all business owners in the Tampa Bay region and even nationally as well. So if interested in growing and promoting your business on the airwaves here, feel free to shoot me a quick email. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I'm interested in hearing your stories and how you grew your businesses. That's something that excites me, especially with all the innovators in the Tampa Bay region. Just send me an email, jamie@tampabayradio.com. Got two amazing guests on the show today. We'll be talking in just a moment with Rupert Megnot, a game designer out of Orlando, Florida. And also on the second half of the show, we're going to be hearing from expert contributor Malcolm Tennant with Access Reverse Mortgage. But first up is Rupert Megnot with 35 plus years of entrepreneurial and project management experience. Rupert is a game investor who incubates game developers' ideas into sales in 6 months or less. And he is an Orlando Business Journal's 40 Under 40 award winner. Rupert, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So introduce yourself to the audience. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you do a little bit more.
Well, as you mentioned, I have 35 years of entrepreneurial experience, and I've taught good project management practices to aspiring game producers at the master's degree level for 6 years, the former students of which are helping manage more than $1 billion in game IP. The problem with most game entrepreneurs is that they just don't know how to make a business out of their game idea. They focus on making games they want to sell rather than games that people want to buy. So I solved that problem because I'm more than an incubator. I provide all the people, resources, motivation, and proprietary processes they need to create quality games as soon as possible. For example, in our first 11 months, my game Venturator has more than 90 game entrepreneurs working in 6 companies, 3 of which we've started, and working on 8 projects, one of which was recently released, and another is the only game that's been inducted in the Clinton Global Initiative.
Now, take me back to 35 years ago, and tell me a little bit about the evolution of your business and the gaming business. I mean, did you start out as just a freelance developer with games, or take me through that process?
Well, 35 years ago, I was getting my degree in my political science degree at Michigan State. So I wasn't in the games until about 6 or so years ago.
Okay.
And basically, I took a job. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse at Full Sail University, and so I was teaching project management principles to aspiring game producers in the master's degree, the game design master's degree program there.
Okay. So how important is project management? I see that are you more of a project manager than the game designer? You bring in the developers, or tell me a little bit more about your structure.
Yeah, well, basic structure is, with regard to project management, there's an 84% failure rate with businesses, and which is kind of shocking. A lot of people don't believe it, but trust me, every study you'll see will bear that up. And that's basically because there's a lack of planning. And project management is 80% planning. So what we do is we bring teams together. When somebody has a good idea, they pitch it to us, and their pitch has to have things like, what's the game about? I mean, if I don't know, if you can't explain the game to me, then what? Then why are you even talking to me? Mm-hmm. And then the business side of things, like what's your target market, and what kind of payback do you think we can generate, our return on investment we can generate, and so forth. And then once we accept them, then we have a talent pool of over 200 people who we basically present to the team, the new client, and say, okay, you go get the people that you want out of this talent pool, and then in the meantime, I set up their processes and help them with their milestones and their planning and everything else, and then I provide them the resources that they need in order to get moving, and then kick them in the pants until they get their game out as quickly as possible.
What are some of the games that we may know about, or where are these games being designed for most? Are you seeing these as mostly applications for the phones, or are we seeing stuff that's for, like, the PlayStations and things like that? Or where are we seeing some of these games that are being designed out of your company?
Well, there's only one that we've got so far that's called Bit Evolution. For those gamers out there that are listening, it's a 2D platformer. It's a retro game platformer where we're basically paying homage to all the games of the past, like the Atari and the Game Boy and the NES and so forth. And it's on Steam, and right now it's in early access. And it's a fully playable game. All the mechanics, everything works perfectly. And if you get it now, before we're finished adding to the game, then we offer free updates on that. So that's where that is. Steam is one of the largest, if not the largest, digital distribution systems in the world. They have 100 million subscribers, and when your game gets greenlit for Steam, that's something to really celebrate. And this particular game was greenlit in less than 6 months.
Now, what made you decide to go into this new business model? Go ahead, if you want to finish your last point beforehand, but I want to also understand your transition and why you decided to go into the game development business.
Well, the last point I was going to make was to answer your question a little bit more clearly, that we look at all kinds of games. This particular one is a PC-based game, whereas one of our other games is a mobile game that has a different revenue model. And we're looking at PlayStation, we're looking at Xbox, we're looking at all kinds of things, and we'll be getting into educational games too as well. So why did I want to get into games? Well, I was, when I was working at Full Sail, one of the things that really impressed me was that these gamers are very passionate about what they're doing, and they have big dreams and they have big goals and everything, and yet at the same time they're still a little modest. Yeah, they want the world to point to them and say, "Hey, he created that game," but they're not in it for the money. They're not in it for all the other things. They're just in it to see their name in the credits of those games. So I was really impressed with that. And in the '90s, I helped. I had a consulting business. I helped a couple hundred high-tech companies get started, and so I'm good at helping people get their companies started. And so I thought this was just a natural fit. And since nobody else was really doing it, I figured, what the heck.
What are some of the other companies that you've worked with to get started? I mean, consulting is a big part of your 35-plus years in the entrepreneurial world. Tell us a little bit about, some of the companies that you've worked with in the past.
The vast majority of the companies that I've worked with in the past were entrepreneurs, wild-eyed entrepreneurs and inventors and so forth. Also did quite a bit of government contracting, mostly with high-tech product development, working on things like I worked on this one system that removed 99% of petroleum distillates from the top 6 inches of a body of water. This is back in '95.
Okay, interesting.
And we sure could have used that technology 5 years ago, right?
Right.
And worked on augmented rail guns and just all kinds of crazy things. And it's just been really a lot of fun. Didn't really limit myself in anything. Did some aerospace stuff and a few other things. Worked with Martin Marietta for a while, and I love technology, and I always wanted to help change the world with technology somehow. But so maybe this is my last shot.
What are some of the tips that you can offer to a lot of the startup entrepreneurs out there? What are some of the common mistakes that you see that entrepreneurs are making when they're starting up some of these companies? Since you've worked with over 200 such firms to get established.
Well, they just don't plan. They wing it, and it's like when you shoot from the hip. I mean, basically, if you don't plan, then 100% of your effort is only 50% effective. So if you take 20% of your time up in the beginning to plan, and you do like an 80 to 90% plan, now the rest of your effectiveness is now also at 80 or 90%. So you get a heck of a lot more done in a shorter period of time if you take the time and make the effort to plan something. And so that's hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so you're saying planning is probably one of the biggest problems with new entrepreneurs and everything. But I mean, you've taken some 200 some companies to profitability, correct?
I wouldn't say to profitability, but I did help them get started, and I did point them in the right direction.
Are you still now? Do you also work as a consultant still for other startups, or are you pretty much just working with Burnout Game Ventures right now?
Actually, I am mentoring a few other companies, but that's just a month-by-month type of a basis where they take me out to lunch and we sit down and they ask me questions and I help them point them in the right direction, give them some advice. But that's about it. Mostly it's games. Gotcha.
So what is the anticipated impact of the games industry in our economy? I mean, with your company.
Well, the game industry, even though it's 40 years old, is still pretty much in its infancy. And the last several years have seen some pretty good growth in several areas of gaming, most particularly in the independent, or what we call indie game sector, where tens of thousands of games are being created every year. And the problem is that they're not getting released because they don't plan. And so as we've been looking at things, we've been saying, well, there's all this growth and a lot of studies. People have been doing lots and lots of studies about what games can do for people. And in this digital age, when my 3-year-old's grandsons are grabbing the iPads and starting playing games and just running rampant with those things, there's so many studies that show that games help children learn better in schools and lessons and things like that. And can you imagine what would happen if we could improve our ability to teach our children just by 10% over what they're teaching today by using games? That would have a profound impact on American society and economics.
Okay, hold that point. Got to take a quick break here, but coming back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit more with Rupert Megnaut, Chief Executive Officer of Burnout Game Ventures. And if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
iMortgage Tampa appreciates and supports all veterans and their families. And as a thank you for your service, they have some unique products specifically for veterans. These programs include 100% cash-out loans, renovation loans, and also a VA interest rate reduction loan. Please call them today at 813-523-4908. Again, that's 813-523-4908. Or online, search for iMortgage Tampa. iMortgage NMLS 174457. Equal housing opportunity lender. Programs and eligibility subject to programs and guidelines.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in with them because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but she gave her all, compassion. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, because of an overnight crash, alternate 19 is still closed in both directions just south of Curlew Road. Also, we still have a crash on US 19 southbound approaching Curlew. This still has a right lane blocked. Watch out for a crash on 54th Avenue North right at 275. And there's a crash in Tampa on 56th Street at Hannah Avenue. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Uterwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Don't let the sun fool you today. It's going to be chilly with a high of only 57. Tonight, clear and cold with a low of 39. There is a freeze watch for our northern counties. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 60.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and thanks for staying tuned in here to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Again, you'll find my show on here weekdays at 8 a.m. on 1250 WHNZ, and I invite you to head over to my website, tampabayradio.com, where you can also preview upcoming guests and catch past shows of That Business Show, again, over at tampabayradio.com. Also, please look me up on all the social networking sites. Find me over at facebook.com/That Business Show, and my Twitter handle is Jamie_Meloni. We're currently talking with Rupert Megnot, Chief Executive Officer of Burnout Game Ventures, and I want to go back to Rupert now. So, Rupert, let's say I've got this great game idea, and I want to, do more with it. Tell me about the process that you offer, or what I need to do, or how people that have a new game, what they need to be, prepared to come to the table with your company.
Well, the first thing they need to understand, of course, is their game, and to a lot of them, that'll sound like hearsay because, hey, it's my game and I should know it. But the problem is without planning everything together, they really don't. So they have to do all the appropriate documentation, like they have design docs and mood boards and technical docs and all kinds of other things that parse out all the various different complicated aspects of making a game, because it is a very complicated endeavor. And then once they do that, then of course they have to, I ask them to do a pitch, and the pitch is basically an 8-minute presentation. They can either do it on YouTube or do a keynote or a PowerPoint, but they have 8 minutes to give it to me, because like Einstein said, if you can't explain it simply, then you just don't understand it. And so then they have to cover all the things about the game, as well as the target market they're going after, and why they think it'll sell, and why people will buy it. And then, of course, what's the budget, and then what type of return on investment they anticipate we can generate off of it.
Now, at what level do people come to you? I mean, do people just come to you with hey, I got a great idea, or do people come to you with some type of prototype a lot of times, or what do you see? I mean, I'm just trying to understand this side of the business.
Well, people that typically come to me, it runs the entire gamut, and typically if they don't really have much, I just say, hey, go apply to the website, because then when they go to the website, then they can see, burnoutgameventures.com, they can go see, we have a rubric that I've created that helps guide them as to what we're looking for in each pitch, and then I have policies and procedures in there that they can download, and they can look at it and say, oh, okay, so I know what I need to do, and then they can go ahead and do it. Now, the 6 companies we're working with right now, most of them have already been working on a game, and they pretty much knew what their game was, and they had some level of planning and documentation done. They were former students of mine, of course, and so they had taken my class, so they knew what they were up against when they applied.
Now, you were a university professor teaching this at Full Sail University, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and so tell me a little bit about that. Tell me some of the things that you learned and some of the things that you taught to your students at the university level.
Well, the key to good project management, which is what I basically taught the basics out of the project management guide to project management body of knowledge, so they call it the PMBOK. And the first thing you need to learn about good project management is everything is flexible, because people people just don't. So many people come to me and they hate project management. Oh, I hate project management. Well, why? Because it's so inflexible. It's so rigid. And I'm like, well, whoever taught you project management didn't know what the heck they were talking about. Because, I'm sure your readers have heard of Eisenhower, right? President Eisenhower.
Yep.
He had a saying. His saying was, plans are worthless, but planning is everything. And the reason why plans are worthless is because change is inevitable. And the reason why planning is everything is because a good plan allows you to control that change. Because if you don't control that change, it'll control you. So a good plan allows people to control that change and then to move forward always. And so these are some of the things that I help teach my students, and they've done quite well for themselves.
So I'm working to kind of, I see what you're doing with your company and everything. So, the kind of what I'm getting at is your company, Burnout Game Ventures. Would you call yourself, kind of describe yourself as maybe a publishing company for the gaming industry? Whereas, like, if I have a book, I go to the publishing company, I say, "Here's my book," and then you take it to market. Tell me what you think about that kind of analysis.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't really go so far as to consider myself a publisher. I'm more of a. If I had to pigeonhole myself or the BGV, I'd call it, like, I came up with the term venturator because we're more than an incubator. We don't just sit there and say, oh, here's an attorney and here's a CPA and they'll give you some time and we have an office and somebody will answer the phone or whatever. I'm actually investing into these companies and providing them the resources that they need and making all the processes and everything else they need. And the ultimate goal, of course, is to kick them out the door, knowing that they have an office, they have salaried people, they're making generating lasting game legacies. So that's basically how we see ourselves, and so we teach them how to fish. A publisher does not teach anybody how to fish. A publisher is just the fisherman for them, and that's really not doing anybody any.
Okay, so you've coined the term venturator, then, correct?
I guess so. That's what I call myself.
You're a game venturator, which provides aspiring game entrepreneurs with all the resources, people, and processes they need to make the game come to market, correct?
Correct.
So of the people that approach you, I mean, how many people get your attention? I mean, are we talking a small percent, mid-percent? I mean, what are you seeing out there in the marketplace right now with games?
Well, they all get my attention, of course. It's just that, because I'm always looking for a good idea, and you never know where that may come from. However, the people that are really going to get my attention are the ones that have all their ducks in a row. They know what they're talking about. They've got two brain cells to rub together, and they're showing it.
Sounds good. Well, we got about a minute left. Real quick, Rupert, if you would give listeners out best ways to get in touch with you, and a little bit more about where they can find you on the web.
Well, of course, both myself and my game company, Burnout Game Ventures, are online. We have burnoutgameventures.com. We're on Facebook, / Burnout Game Ventures, on LinkedIn. Have all kinds of, on Twitter, I'm at BurnGameVen and at Rupert Megnot. So, you can always look up those things there. And, of course, you can always contact me via either the website or through LinkedIn. All
right, Rupert. Thank you very much for coming into the onto the show today, and we'll definitely get your information up on the show recap as well. So, thank you again, Rupert.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Coming back from the break, we're going to be talking with expert contributor to the show, Malcolm Tennant of Access Reverse Mortgage, all about the changes going on in the reverse mortgage market industry. So some great information coming up. So please stay tuned to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
Office space isn't something you think about until you need it. Then it's all you think about. Leases, locations, logistics, every detail takes you away from running your business. But Regis makes it easy. With one call, you can get furnished offices and support staff wherever and for however long you need them. From short-term to long-term, all on your terms. So let Regis take the hassle and expense out of setting up your office so you can focus on your business. Regis, the new way to work. Call 1-800-OFFICES now.
You're running your business, and we at Wix.com know things can get stressful. But creating your website doesn't have to be. With Wix, you can create a professional website all by yourself. It's easy and free. You don't have to be a programmer. Just drag and drop everything into place. It's your website, your style. Show the world what you can do. Go to Wix.com and create your own stunning website today. It's easy and free.
Each franchise independently owned and operated. Offer good on selected window treatments for a limited time. Minimum purchase required. Ask for details.
Hello? Hi, Stacy. It's your sister. Listen, could you, trade houses with me?
What?
Yeah, trade houses. Jim wants to have his new boss over, and your house is so beautiful with those new drapes from Budget Blinds, and we really want to impress him.
Call Budget Blinds and have your own house done. Right now, you can save hundreds of dollars on your custom window coverings.
Wow. Do they still give you a free design consultation and measure and install the window treatments for you?
Yes, and they give you their no questions asked warranty.
Gotta go. I'm calling now.
It's the Budget Blinds Window Fashions Blowout Sale event with very stylish savings. Your style consultant will tell you how you can save hundreds of dollars on a huge selection of window coverings. Call 1-800-260-8939 now to get a free in-home design consultation and save. Hurry, sale ends soon. Call 1-800-260-8939. That's 1-800-260-8939.
This report is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation.
When Marlon Shirley was 5, he lost his foot. Today, as the world's fastest amputee, he runs the 100 meters in less time than it takes to listen to this. Overcoming. Pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life.
From the Bright House Network's traffic center, very heavy traffic on 275 southbound approaching Sly because of a crash that's been reported. May have a lane blocked here. Also, we have a disabled vehicle on 275 southbound at Ashley. This has a left lane blocked because of an overnight crash. Alternate 19 is closed in both directions south of Curlew Road, and we still have a crash on 54th Avenue North right at 275. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udelwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Winds Weather Center forecast, we'll see the high today only reaching the upper 50s, near 60 degrees. Bit of a breeze, could be cooler at times. Lots of sunshine, though, and tonight's lows very chilly, upper 30s, and some freezing temps to the north. Impact Radio, 1250 winds.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Winds WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hello, everybody, and thanks yet again for staying tuned in to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. We were just talking with Rupert Megnot, who is the Chief Executive Officer over at Burnout Game Ventures. Learn more about him over at burnoutgameventures.com. And you can learn more about myself and my show over at my website, tampabayradio.com. And connect with me over at all my social networking sites, Twitter, which is Jamie_Maloney, and Facebook.com/That Business Show. I want to go ahead and bring on expert contributor Malcolm Tennant, who is the Chief Operating Officer over at Access Reverse, and his company has overseen the funding of over 1,000 reverse mortgages. Malcolm, welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Jamie. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much. I know there's been a lot of changes going on in the reverse mortgage market. You just told me about some news this morning. So let's talk a little bit about that to open up.
Yeah, I think, as you know, I've always been passionate about getting the word out on reverse mortgages. This is a wonderful program that's often maligned in the press. And so the big thing that's coming, what I've seen in the last 10 years I've been in the business is a real changing face of the industry. Traditionally, we were kind of a rescue tool for seniors, people 62 and over, which is not that old these days. But what we've seen in recent years is more of a shift to using reverse mortgages as a financial planning tool. And we've actually got several $1 million plus homes in process right now for reverse mortgages, where in some cases we're paying off existing mortgages, and others they're doing it strictly to set up an emergency line of credit, just to have it there. So that's kind of the new face of reverse mortgages. But the traditional face as a rescue tool, where for example, we recently had a woman called us. Her home was scheduled to go to sale and foreclosure in 8 days. We actually got a reverse mortgage processed and done, paid off her existing mortgage, and stopped the foreclosure. Gave her the right to stay in her house the rest of her life. And so that's how things have been in the past. There's new rules coming in. They were scheduled to come in March 2nd, which is we're getting really up against the deadline.
A couple weeks. Yeah, just a couple weeks. Yep.
On that, FHA came out with new rules. They call it financial assessment. Well, we just got notification last night at after 5 o'clock last night that they've extended the implementation 30 to 60 days because of software issues. So that's a good thing. It gives some breathing room here for people. But
what were some of the changes that were, that are on the table for that change? And I mean, you say this was good news. Why is it good news? What was going to happen on March 2nd that would have, negatively impacted the business?
For the kind of more traditional rescue type situation where you've got somebody that might be in foreclosure, or you've got somebody that has overextended. They've tried to stay in a financial situation that wasn't viable and maybe got behind on their property taxes, homeowners insurance, or had late payments on credit cards, that sort of thing. Those people are going to be under dramatically increased scrutiny now. We're going to have to prove ability, so document income, and a willingness to pay ongoing obligations, which include property taxes, homeowners insurance, and any other debt they might have. So what we're going to see is there's going to be a significant number of people who could really use a reverse mortgage are going to be excluded after, well, it was March 2nd. Now we've got some breathing room there. So we do have the ability still to get people grandfathered in. It's not going to affect the $1 million homeowner with good credit and all that. But it is going to be pretty devastating to some people.
Yeah, and let's work a little bit to dispel some of the common myths with reverse mortgages that plague your industry so much. Let's elaborate on that, if you would.
Sure. The big thing people often believe is that in some way they're giving up ownership when they get a reverse mortgage, where, as we know, the reverse mortgage is just like any other mortgage. It's you're strictly borrowing money, so you get some money, however much it might be, a little or a lot. You get a statement in the mail each month, tells you how much you owe, how much interest was charged the month before. The first big difference with the reverse mortgage is that when you get that statement, you don't have to make any payment. Mm-hmm. So, but other than that, it's the same as a traditional mortgage. You get your statement the next month, you owe a little bit more because they've added the interest from last month to your balance. So that's the first big myth, I think, that in no way are you giving up ownership of the home. Under any kind of normal economic conditions, there's going to be a lot of equity remaining in the house from the day you get the reverse mortgage throughout your life if you choose to spend your life there.
Yeah, we had seen an article just a couple months back where it was like front page news. Somebody had lost their home through a reverse mortgage. But if you had read the article, the content of the article did not support the headline. I mean, they went in there to explain why they lost the home. Tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah, it was last June. It was a full front page feature in the Tampa Bay Times. Headline was "The Fix That Failed." A woman in Gulfport had a reverse mortgage since 2007. She, for one reason or another, they quit paying their homeowners insurance in 2009. So they went 5 years without paying homeowners insurance, and the lender at that point had no choice, like any lender under any kind of mortgage, would have no choice except to start a foreclosure proceeding. But the reverse mortgage itself had nothing to do with the foreclosure. It's just coincidental that they had a reverse mortgage versus a traditional mortgage.
Now, who are candidates for reverse mortgages?
So one spouse has to be 62 or over. You can have one over, one under. Okay. Other than that, pretty much everybody, the National Journal of Financial Planners now advocates that everybody, as they approach retirement age, which whatever that might be, as part of their overall financial planning, look at the possibility of getting a reverse mortgage to either pay off an existing mortgage, supplement their income with there's a monthly income stream you can get for life as long as you live in your home, or just as a standby line of credit instead of relying on credit cards. So this is becoming a very mainstream product. It's just a fact that baby boomers as a generation don't have enough money to retire on to maintain the lifestyle we have. So most of what we do have is tied up in real estate. So I look at it, it's like you've got your 401k or your IRA you can dip into for money in retirement, and you've got your house you can dip into. You can pull equity out of there in much the same way.
Now, tell me a little bit more about the history of your company, Access Reverse Mortgage. I mean, you've been around for many years, and you're also very involved in the community. Tell me a little bit more about the family business here.
Sure. We are a family business. We're based in St. Petersburg on Tyrone Boulevard. That's our main offices for the state of Florida. We have reps around the state, but the people that work at the home office are primarily my family. We have my wife and my two sons. We have been in the same location for 10 years. The reverse mortgages are all we do, which makes us unique. Being based in the state of Florida and the fact we only do reverse mortgages makes us really unique in the industry, and the fact we've been around 10 years. A lot of our industry is based on the telephone call center, overnighting document kind of business model. We don't do that. We meet in person with every client, usually in their home. I handle everything in this area. We have reps around the state as well who would handle people in other cities. But the process is confusing. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of documentation. I think it's around 40 signatures in the application. And to send that out to somebody and ask them to understand it on their own is difficult. So,
yeah, and there's a lot of, like we were talking earlier, a lot of myths, a lot of kind of, fear that goes into it, and the fact that you come to people's homes and talk to them. I mean that's definitely a huge selling point for yourself and your company.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people are looking for that.
Now you're also very involved in the community, and you were just talking with me about being named as part of the Alzheimer Association's Gulf Coast chapter. Tell me a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I've just been appointed to the board of. It's called Walk to End Alzheimer's, and it's a series of fundraising walks. It's our primary fundraising mechanism. There'll be 10 different walks in the 13-county Bay Area, starting in the fall, and we're as part of that board. I'm looking for sponsors and walkers. If anybody wants to get in touch with me, I can connect them with the right opportunities and show them the path how to sign up. If somebody wants to have a walking team, it's not a real strenuous walk. It's only a 5K, and it is a walk. But it's such a subject that's so close to my heart. My mother had Alzheimer's, and my father-in-law, and it's everybody knows somebody who's been touched by it. And I think it's the most devastating disease out there. It's because of the length of time for care and what it does to a family is just tremendous.
Now, other people within the organization are carrying some very unique designations also. Tell me a little bit more about the strength of the people that work in your company.
Yeah, thank you. The National Reverse Mortgage Lenders Association has a designation. It's very difficult to earn. There's a lot of criteria. It's called a Certified Reverse Mortgage Professional, CRMP. And there's only 95 CRMPs in the entire country. There's only 9 in the state of Florida, and 3 of the CRMPs out of the 9 in the state of Florida are with our company. I'm one of them. Recently earned that designation, and it is something to look for if you want. Our industry is really got a problem with. No offense to the forward mortgage industry, but this is a very different product, and we have hundreds of forward mortgage companies that write 1 or 2 reverse mortgage a year. Statistically, that's a fact. And you're just asking for trouble getting involved in a situation like that. There's just so many rules and pitfalls that our closing rate on our reverse mortgages is over 80%.
Wow, very good.
The industry closing rate is only 53%. So the CRMP designation is a way that you can tell if somebody's really serious about this business.
Well, absolutely. I mean, 80% closing. I know I talked with a lot of professional mortgage professionals and asked them if they do reverse mortgages, and some say they do, but they really don't understand the intricacies of the reverse mortgage, and most of them shy away from it. And they recommend people such as yourselves. But do you see a lot of traditional mortgage people in banking trying to do these, or do you see that most of them try to shy away from it?
We get a lot of referrals from other mortgage companies, but there certainly are a number out there that decide to throw it on the last line in their ad. We do reverse mortgages. You'll hear that tag on a lot of mortgage company advertising now, and it's obviously, I'm biased, but in my opinion, it's a very bad way to go.
And you made the business decision to strictly specialize in reverse mortgage. You don't do any traditional lending. So, I mean, you obviously know the business inside and out. So that's definitely a selling point for yourself and Access Reverse Mortgage. And so got to take a quick break, but coming back from the break, we're going to be talking a little bit more with Malcolm Tennant, Chief Operating Officer over at Access Reverse Mortgage. And if you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business.
iMortgage Tampa appreciates and supports all veterans and their families. And as a thank you for your service, they have some unique products specifically for veterans. These programs include 100% cash out loans, renovation loans, and also a VA interest rate reduction loan. Please call them today at 813-523-4908. Again, that's 813-523-4908. Or online, search for iMortgage Tampa. iMortgage NMLS 174457. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender. Programs and eligibility subject to programs and guidelines.
Tampa Bay weather is a roof killer. That's why when getting your roof done, you want it done right. Hi, I'm Jamie Meloni of the Jamie Meloni Real Estate Show. When considering a new roof or repair, talk to Westfall Roofing. They've been installing high-quality roofs in Tampa Bay for over 25 years. Get a free, no-obligation estimate by calling 855-99-ROOFING. Find out what already 15,000 satisfied customers already know. Call now, 855-99-ROOFING. That's 855-99-ROOFING.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
This report is brought to you by iHeartMedia.
Looking for a way to increase your business? Ever thought about advertising on radio? iHeartMedia can customize a campaign to meet your specific needs. Call 844-BUY-RADIO. That's 844-BUY-RADIO. Or go to iHeartMedia.com.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center, we are bumper to bumper on 275 southbound from Fletcher into Sly because of a crash near Sly that has the right lane blocked. Heavy delays also on 275 southbound from I-4 to Ashley because of a disabled vehicle that has the left lane blocked. Because of an overnight crash, alternate 19 still closed in both directions just south of Curlew. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udelwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
Don't let the sun fool you today. It's going to be chilly with a high of only 57 tonight. Clear and cold with a low of 39. There is a freeze watch for our northern counties. Tomorrow, mostly sunny and a high of 60.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Meloni.
Hello, everybody, and thanks again for staying tuned in to That Business Show with Jamie Meloni, where business becomes show business. Learn more about my show over at TampaBayRadio.com and connect with me on all the social networking sites, Twitter, Jamie_Meloni, and Facebook.com/That Business Show. Currently talking with Malcolm Tennant, Chief Operating Officer of Access Reverse Mortgage. And Malcolm, we were talking off air a little bit about a new study that Boston College has put out from their Center for Retirement Planning about retirement options for seniors. So let's elaborate on this a little bit more.
Yeah, I mentioned we see a lot of misinformation in the press, and this Boston College study is really excellent. It's completely accurate, and it talks not just about reverse mortgages, but other options, downsizing, in retirement. So we bought up a pretty good quantity of them and have been giving them away to people who are investigating reverse mortgages. We have the ability to mail out a hard copy or email a link to the study. And anybody who's remotely interested in reverse mortgages, this will give you the straight facts. So just encourage anybody to contact me or through your website or directly and we'd be happy to mail out a booklet to them.
Oh, very good. Now let's talk a little bit about, we see, celebrity advertising on the televisions with reverse mortgages. Why should, a person considering a reverse mortgage contact you versus the celebrities? Talk to me a little bit about where the money's coming from for some of these celebrity advertising companies.
Sure. I mean, the Fred Thompson's a big one. Everybody's seen that ad. That company is the biggest in the industry, but they're spending a tremendous amount of money on these national TV ads, and we don't do that. And as a result, our costs are truly lower, which allows us to come across with lower closing costs and still maintain our profit margins. So we do have a real advantage in cost there. But bigger than that, most of these companies are going to deal with you from a call center in California or Michigan or New York, and you're dealing with a very friendly, expert representative. We all are in this industry, or we don't make it. But once the app, and then they'll overnight a 40 signature application to you. So assuming you get through that and FedEx it back to them, now you call your loan officer with a question. Well, I can't actually access your file anymore. Let me look in the computer. But they can't talk to the underwriter, the processor. They don't really know what's going on with your file. So with us, we come to your home. We take your application. We take it back to our main office in St. Petersburg, and our processing department there processes the loan. So when there's issues come up during processing, and they do, there's lots of things come up. We typically deal with them ourselves. But when the borrower has to get involved, you're not calling into a call center, next available operator. You're calling us. We answer the phone live. We always answer the phone live there. We're available evenings and weekends, even if somebody has an issue come up. We find sometimes family members will express concerns, and we like to be available for that. But it comes down to, you say, where does the money come from? It's interesting that it doesn't matter where you get your reverse mortgage. The money comes from the same place. All reverse mortgages are written and processed and underwritten, and then there's a closing. A notary comes to the house typically for that. Then within 30 days of closing, the loan's going to be insured by FHA, and they insure the investor and to the borrower that when the day comes to sell the house, when the borrower decides to move or when they pass and their heirs are selling it, when the day comes to sell, if there's more owing than the house is worth, FHA steps in and pays the difference. There's no downside there for the borrower. But then after it's insured by FHA, the loan's going to be sold through Ginnie Mae. All reverse mortgages are sold as reverse mortgage-backed securities to big investors, pension funds, and insurance companies. So it doesn't matter who you get your loan from, that's where it's going to end up. So you want to just get the best deal you can with the best level of expertise and customer service.
Now, your company, going back to customer service, I mean, your company is a recipient of 3 national awards for customer service. Tell me a little bit more about these.
Yeah, we've had 3 different years out of the 10 we've been in business. We've won first place nationwide in lender awards for our level of customer service, and we're very proud of that. Our structure allows us to give better service, and we hope to think we're friendly people too.
Well, you're definitely very involved in the community and an excellent resource, for myself with questions with reverse mortgages and everything. I tell you, I've learned a lot. I specialize in bank-owned property sales, and I don't deal with the senior market and reverse mortgages. That's your side, but you're an excellent resource for information and very professional, and you come highly recommended here by that business show. But let's talk a little bit more about the costs associated with reverse mortgages. What are the fees that people should expect to pay, when settling on a mortgage?
Okay, so typically, traditionally the fees on a reverse mortgage have been about 5% of appraised value. Now, you don't pay those, but you owe them. They become part of the cost. Recently, what we've found with interest rates so low, reverse mortgages are very popular with investors. The investors who buy these things, they have the FHA guarantee on the end value for one thing, but there's not many options for investors right now to get a decent return. So they're buying these things up in their big $6 million packages. But when they buy them, they're willing to pay a premium right now. So what we do is we take that premium and use that to subsidize closing costs. So we can, especially on higher value homes, Recently, we've done a number of loans with no closing costs, where we're able to pay them all out of that premium. So the conditions are optimal right now. It's a great time to get a reverse mortgage. We will. There is a concern down the road. At some point, I mean, interest rates have been where they are right now for about the last 6 years. But at some point, we expect we're going to see an increase, and as rates go up, it impacts the FHA formula to determine how much you can borrow. So conditions truly are optimal right now with combination of low closing costs or zero closing costs. We can sometimes do. It's not there are no closing costs, it's just we're paying them. And maximum proceeds for every borrower right now.
What's the time frame to get a reverse mortgage, done and closed?
From the time we get the application signed, and then every borrower is required to do a telephone counseling session with a trained reverse mortgage counselor, just to make sure that they understand the program and that I'm giving good information too. So from the time the counseling's done and the application's signed, typically it's a week to get the appraisal. Then we know what the real numbers are. And then 2 weeks after that, we should be ready to schedule a closing. Then even after closing, there's a 3-day rescission period where the borrower can change their mind. So figure a month when everything's smooth. Sometimes they go longer if we run into title issues and that sort of thing, but a month is typical timing.
And we've got about a minute left, but you also can use reverse mortgages for purchase, too. In brief, hit that point real quick.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people aren't aware of. We did the first one in the country. Our co-founder, when he retired, bought a house in Bardmore Golf Course area in Pinellas County. And the way it works is just like any other mortgage. You go in, you have to put a bigger down payment because we can only get between 50 and 70% of value with a reverse mortgage. So let's say you're buying a $100,000 home for round numbers. You come in with a down payment of $30,000 to $50,000, and the reverse mortgage pays for the rest, just like a traditional mortgage would. Now you've got a house to live in the rest of your life, if you choose, with no mortgage payment.
Well, and there's a lot more information to that, and you can reach out to Malcolm to learn more about this. Real quick, about 30 seconds left. Malcolm, how can people get in touch with you to learn more about this stuff?
Sure. Let me mention, you do still have to pay your property taxes and homeowner's insurance and maintain the house. The phone number in Pinellas is 727-347-0305, 727-347-0305. AccessReverseMortgage.com is another way, or 800-806-7126.
Thank you very much, Malcolm. Great information as always, and you can also catch his information over at my website, TampaBayRadio.com. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will catch you all back in here Monday at 8 a.m. Have a great weekend, everybody.